What's going on, everyone? Hopefully, you're doing well. As you can see, I'm in a new position. I hope you didn't either. I didn't work at all over vacation, and I didn't plug in my laptop. So I need to be here charging while I do this lesson. So I'm standing up a little bit more free rather than just sitting down. I don't think it's really going to affect the lesson at all, but I don't know. Hopefully, you didn't eat too much, but now that I notice when I'm coming back, like, oh, my face didn't used to be this full. I have to work on that. 2023, eat less food. But hopefully you had a great vacation. I know I did. I was sick for most of it, so I didn't do much. But hopefully you had I know a lot of people were sick during Thanksgiving break. And so I guess it was my time to be sick. So hopefully nobody was like, and I wasn't that, I had a cold. That was it. Nothing too bad, but I wanted to stay in bed for a couple days, which I could. I stayed in bed for a couple days. But we're back. So that means we probably should do some work, unfortunately. Sorry. We'll start off hopefully kind of slow. Today, we're going to talk about some words. It's like random words, but the focus will be careful how you say this, the Latin and Greek root dict. There's a T at the end, dict. And anytime you hear that, think about something to do with speech. All right. So let's take a look at these. I'll bring them up right there. We got 13 words today. You can see the first one, antibiotic. Antibiotic. Hopefully this is one that you know already, but there are a couple roots in there, not dict, but a couple roots I'd like to talk about. So you can see there's a picture of some pills right there. Antibiotic, a type of medicine used to kill or slow the growth of harmful bacteria. So if you're ever on antibiotics, that means you have some bacteria in you that's doing you some harm. So anytime you see anti, you might know that already. Anti is the opposite. Bio is life. So bacteria is technically life. So like try to combat the other life that's inside you. Think of it that way. It's the opposite. They try to kill it. They try to kill the life. Antibiotics. The next one here, not one of my favorites, but carcass. That is simply the dead body of an animal. I won't zoom in on that just in case there are some people that are a little squeamish, but we usually don't use carcass for human beings, but we might use it for an animal. That would be about the only time. It would be very disrespectful if you said, oh, I'm going to a funeral today. His carcass is going to be in a coffin. Yeah. We just use it for animals, pretty much. Dead animals, carcass. Pretty straightforward one right there. All right, let's go past this robust, strong and healthy. It's unlikely that on a Monday after a long vacation, you are going to feel robust, but who knows? Maybe 2023, you've already been starting to work out. You're like, you know what? I want to change my lifestyle. I want to become more healthy. Maybe some of you were already healthy. I know you were. But maybe you have a robust vocabulary. That's what this is designed to do, is to try to get you a more robust vocabulary, something strong. Maybe like an older man, right? In his 80s. You might think, oh, he might be decrepit. We've had that word before, usually used with buildings, but you can use it for people. Oh, that poor decrepit old man. Maybe he's the opposite. Maybe he's robust. So strong. You can use that maybe like for like crops in the fall. Yeah, we had a robust yield of corn, something like that. So that's what that means. Strong and healthy. I'm sure at what, 14, 13? You're all robust. Nobody in here is decrepit. All right. The next one, contradict. So you can see the definition is to speak against or to say the opposite. Contradict. Hopefully you've heard this. Contra, that also is like anti, meaning the opposite. Contra, dict, contradict, remember, to say something. So it's exactly what it means to say the opposite of someone. Contradict. I don't know. Do your parents ever say that to you? You're always contradicting what I say. Like you say the opposite. Teenagers, parents often don't get along. If they say the sky is blue, you might say, no, you know what? A little more clouds in there. It's like it's a little bit white and blue, whatever. That's just, I think, parents and teenagers' jobs is to just contradict each other all the time. Say the opposite. It's just what we do. It's part of growing up, right? If you've been dependent on your parents for so long, now you need to show, hey, I don't need you anymore. And your parents are the opposite. Like, oh, I've been coddle. Was coddle one of our words? Can't remember. But I've been coddling them all their life. They still need me. No, I don't. Interesting time, parents and teenagers. All right, the next one. Dictation. What is written down as someone says it? So let's see. I'll make this a little bit bigger. We don't want to show too much Hitler, though. He's coming up. But back in the 1950s, this looks like that picture looks like it was back in the 1950s. You would have somebody like now you can just speak into your phone, right? And it's going to write it down for you. But at one time, if somebody was saying something important and they were just like too busy to write it down themselves, they might have someone take a dictation. And that just means as someone is talking, someone else is writing it down. In court, still happens, but those are, I don't know. Have we had that word already? Stenographer? Graph means writing. I can't remember if we've done the Latin and Greek root graph yet, writing, but a stenographer is someone who takes down what is being written in court. So not exactly it is a dictation though, but we just have a different word for those people, stenographer. So it's becoming less and less needed, but hey, take this dictation if you would, and then someone would write it down. You can see that in the photo. Dictation, just another way we use dict with talking. All right, the next one. You know who likes to talk a lot? Dictators. But I'm sure you know this one, right? Already? Make it a little bigger. A leader who speaks and rules with total power. And of course, one of the first, I can't pick any picture I want. I use the free version of Quizlet, so it gives me like 6 options, something like that. But I mean, when you think dictator, somebody who rules a country, and if you've ever seen Hitler speak, I mean, he speaks he's a robust speaker. He speaks very powerfully. He speaks often too, or he did when he was in power. Or at least that's what I thought. It seemed like he was always, I wasn't alive when he was in power, but all the speeches I've seen, seems like he was a very robust talker, dictator. We're going to talk quite a bit in fourth quarter. We're almost in the third quarter. Grades close, and I think it's January 27th. So we'll probably close grades by like next Friday. So the big grade will be the essay you wrote before break, right? That'll be a big grade. This will be on second quarter, this quiz and study guide and stuff like that. So, but in third and fourth quarter, we are going to talk quite a bit about dictators. Dictators like Pol Pot, someone you may not have heard of, but he was a Cambodian dictator, horrible person. Per capita, probably killed more people than many of the other dictators that you might know. Oh, do you know any other dictators? Hitler, probably the big one. Mussolini, another one. Stalin. There's quite a few that we can talk about. All right, but anyways, dictator. The next one, let's make it a little easier for you to see, a little smaller here. Diction. The manner in which something is expressed in words, written or spoken. So we got a couple words here that might be a little bit tough, but these are types of diction. So slang, you probably know. Jargon. Pods. Does anybody know jargon? It's not one of our vocabulary words, but it's a good word to know. Jargon is if anybody is doing something like specific to their profession, like the medical profession has their own type of jargon, the legal profession, jargon. It's very specific vocabulary used for that profession. So outside of that profession, you probably won't use words like that. I would say, like in English class, we have words like onomatopoeia. That might be jargon for English class. Like you really don't use those words outside of English class, outside of like writing, stuff like that. And then the other one, I can't quite see it. Oh, colloquial. Not easy to say. I'll make it a little bigger. Colloquial. And that is a very fancy way just to say words that like common everyday use. Nothing too fancy, nothing too formal. So that word right there, let me bring it over. Diction. Diction. One more time. It's the manner in which something is expressed in words, spoken or written. Diction. That one, it's going to be actually probably pretty hard for me to put into some kind of quiz. So we're covering it now, but just a heads up, I probably can't come up with a question for diction, but just no, it's just words pretty much used to express something. All right, the next one, you know this one. Dictionary, reference book in which spoken or written words are defined. Come on, know that one, right? Dictionary, but it's got DICT, something about talking, speech, dictionary. The next one, dictum. Dictum. Careful how you say that. A judge's ruling or statement. Judge's ruling or statement. Pretty to the point right there. You can see there is a judge. Her ruling would be her dictum. You don't hear that as much. You definitely would hear judge's ruling, but just because we're talking about words that mean to say with dict, thought that one would be a good one. The next one is, make it a little bigger, edict. Edict. Talk about formal. Edict. Public words issued by an official that explains a law or a command. Edict. So I can see back when there were kings and queens, their edict. It's like a rule that has to be followed to a T. Very formal. Maybe like a declaration of war would be an edict. So very, very formal. Usually would have to have some kind of government involved making it official. So public words used by an official that explains a law or a command. Edict. Judge. I think you could say that a judge would issue an edict. All right. How many more we got here? We got 13 words, not too many more. Let me make this smaller so we can all see it. Yeah, 3 more words here. Indictment. Indictment. Formal words spoken or written by a jury that charge a person with a crime. So that's the noun indictment. Indicted, you might hear also. So definitely legal term. Somebody does something bad and they're formally brought up on charges. An indictment has been issued against them, or they've been indicted for some kind of crime. Hopefully that helps. Not too much longer here. All right. I'm sure you all know this one. Predict. Predict. But what it does is it uses 2 words that Latin and Greek roots that we probably would be helpful if you knew. Pre, before. We've talked about that before. And then dict. Again, say. Literally. Say something before it happens. Predict. So this one is not hard because I'm sure you use it quite a bit. But like, hey, I predict by the end of the week we will have a snow day. I don't think that prediction, that's the noun. I don't think that prediction would come true because I think it's supposed to be warm, right? All day. I mean, all week. Prediction. Say something before it happens. Literally, right? That's what it means. I know everybody knows that definition there. And then the last one, a lot of legal terms here. Verdict. Verdict. Jury's decision to make it a trial. The decision said by a jury. I'm sure most people know that, but like a jury is saying something. Their verdict was guilty. Their verdict was innocent. Actually, you don't hear that. You don't hear anybody ever like declared innocent. It's hard to prove innocence, but just not guilty. So the verdict came to it the jury came to a verdict, and their verdict was not guilty. All right, hopefully this helps. Maybe you're halfway done with a study guide. Maybe you're completely done. I don't know. I went through these kind of quickly, but a little time to work in class. Get back on Frank and Beans, and then we'll be out of here. Adios, amigo.